Hello, I recently did a video where I was driving a car around FPV, and I want to just do a quick video on what that car was and what I kind of been planning on doing. This is it here. It's something I got off AliExpress for £32 with discounts and whatnot. It's certainly not the best car, RC car you can get. I don't think it's necessarily the worst either. It's just run of the mill. I haven't driven an RC car since I was about 10 years old, and I know nothing about them. So I just kind of looked through a few RC car things on AliExpress and just took a punt at this one. It's 1:16 scale. It's 4x4 with two brushed motors. I know brushless is better, but as I say, I didn't really know what I was wanting, and I just thought I'll go for something that's cheap and cheerful that'll do the job. The job, twofold. One being my son isn't really interested in FPV, and I thought, well, maybe if I get a car, that might change his mind and he can drive it around line of sight first of all, and then I'm going to strap a camera to the top and put my goggles on him and let him drive around. So I kind of did this and got this to try and entice him into FPV. And also then I wanted to try FPVing on a car as well, and I thought that this would do the job. So yeah, it's not the best, it's probably not the worst either. This one's a 2S. It came with a 1500 mAh lithium ion pack. The reports say that it can do about 40 or 50 kilometers an hour, and well, yeah, full speed, I would say it's probably close to that. And it comes with this shell that goes on, and it came with a controller. So it meant then that once it arrived and I charged up the battery, I could just turn it on and I could drive it, and my son could happily drive it as well. And initially what I did was I got my 1S hot swap pod, and I stuck it to the top, and I had a battery stuck on the back there that could power it, and we drove around and it worked perfectly fine, and my son got on really well with it. The camera bounced around all over the place, but because this is really his first introduction to FPV, he was none the wiser and he thought it was great crack. For me, flying planes and flying drones, the vibration, it got a bit tiresome. So I thought, well, now's the time to try and make some modifications. So the first modification that I did was got rid of the shell, and I came up just with this foam board skateboard type plate that I was able to stick onto there. Had the VTX on there, had the camera on the front, the battery on the back, and it certainly helped. There was one less thing kind of vibrating along. That was my first iteration, and now I kind of 3D printed something that has more kind of purpose to it, and that'll go on there, and again works an awful lot better. So what am I planning on doing next with this? Well, because it's my first introduction to kind of RC cars, I thought I would buy a few components and see if I can modify it. I'd really love to be able to use my Jumper T20 radio with it. So I've bought a brushed 20 amp by 2 ESC that I'm going to try and replace the stock kind of dumb ESCs that's in there with this one, and put an Express LRS receiver on there. Driving around with the FPV camera on there, the limiting factor is definitely the radio control link. It advertises it at around 40 to 50 meters if memory serves, and that's about right, which is fine for in a football pitch or up and down the road. But with FPV on there, you maybe want to go exploring. So I thought if I do this and I put on my Express LRS, then I can bump up the power and the radio control link won't be the issue. So I have that. It comes with a 5 cable servo, which I know can be modified, but I've ordered a new 17 gram servo just to replace the steering link. And so the plan then is to remove all of the innards, put my new ESC in there, put an express LRS receiver in there with a new servo, and then I can use my jumper radio with it. With my kind of skateboard style mount on there with the V1 or 1S V3 VTX with a little fan on there, little camera up at the front, and then we're good to go. So yes, just a quick run view of this. I'll put the link on from where I got it on AliExpress. It's a kid's toy, really, but it's a pretty good kid's toy. And if you're like me, you have no idea about RC cars, you can buy it, you can plug it in, you can drive it around, have good fun with it, and it's cheap enough that you can kind of, you maybe, don't mind wrecking it, but it's good enough that you can have good fun with it and bash it around. So there we go. No doubt, once I make further modifications, I'll do another video. Thanks.